their intelligence.
That people that use their tips. Okay, so you're trying to appeal to intelligent people. Where do you find them? At the train station? At the job center? At the bar? They could be anywhere. But in some places there's a higher concentration of those people. Well, how many of those people do you need? Do you just need one? Do you need 5 or 10 or 1,000?
Everyone.
Everyone?
As many as possible.
Many as possible, okay? But you want to start with a few. So you need to have what's called a little success story, you know? Before people actually invest into your idea, they want to see what have you done so far to get credibility, you know? Just like, why am I here talking to you? Because I've done this for 40 years, because we're talking about credibility. Who's my audience? And we're talking about most likely to succeed. With whom are you most likely to have a success? Okay? So, and people will ask you, what are your credentials? What do you got to show? You may say, I have a great idea. Fine, fair enough. How many people are interested in great ideas?
It depends on which idea.
Which idea? Okay. I mean, ideas rule the world. You know, it's mind over matter. So ideas do rule. But they want to see something tangible. So if you can create something small, it may be just a few points of your project on a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be a website or a big prototype, but just a few cohesive points of what it is that you want to do, how you want to do it, and what do you need. Okay? Now, I would like to hear from you in one word or less. What is the message that you would like to communicate? Because imagine, you're in the elevator, you got 21 seconds. So you say, hello, oh, Mr. Zuckerberg, okay. And he says, well, what's your name? So you say your name. And then is that moment of silence. You know that moment of silence? It's called the moment of truth. And you know that you have one shot. You only have one shot. And if you blow it, that's it. The tiger's going to jump on you and eat you alive. So what is it that you want to communicate to the world in one word or less? What's your message?
True life. Life.
Life.
Love.
Love.
Peace.
Peace.
Get to know Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Self-realization.
Self.
Humility. Humility.
Humility.
Happiness.
Happiness. But you got to smile when you say that. You can't go, okay, you have to smile.
Happiness.
Happiness. Good. Now I'm happy.
Everyone a chance to decide.
One word.
I don't know.
Or less.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, knowledge. Okay, you got it. No, that's it. The question is, what is your message in one word or less? What would you like to communicate to the world or to your audience?
Happiness.
Happiness, okay. You have something new? Because she already said that.
I need to think.
Okay.
I was also gonna say happiness, but then truth.
Truth?
Purpose. Sincerity. Greatest word.
You look pretty relaxed. You know, I've seen you in different positions, in different places of the project. So how about relaxation? Why not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, people are stressed out, you know? People are stressed out. You just tell them, man, just don't take it too, just relax, you know?
Take it easy.
You think you have an audience if you talk about that? I guarantee you, you've got an audience about that. I'll get to that in a minute. What's your message?
Relief. Relief. Relief.
Relief. Okay.
Peace. Happiness.
Peace.
Changer, game life changer.
Change. Do you like change?
Sometimes.
Huh?
Variety is also change.
Variety is also change, yeah. But change is, you have to know how to frame it, okay? Who likes change here?
Sometimes.
You know, the only person who likes change is a wet baby. They like change. Everyone else doesn't like change. If I tell you,
Life changer, but
people like comfort zone, you know? They like comfort zone. Who here doesn't like comfort zone? Whoever doesn't like comfort zone, please come up here and make a song and a dance right now for us. Not quite right now, okay? So, but change
I'm
is
not thinking.
powerful. Change is powerful. You can work with that, but you have to know how to frame it. You understand? Frame it, contextualize it. Okay? What is your message in one word or less? What do you want to communicate to your audience?
Krishna love us.
Krishna Loka.
Love us. Krishna love us.
Krishna loves us. Okay, good. All right. All this stuff is great. This stuff sells. This stuff is real. Why? Because it's what you feel. People can read all this online. They can buy this online. They want to know what makes you you. What's going on in your mind, in your heart? What drives your engine? That's what is their question. So people have 3 questions in their minds when they meet you. Question number 1.
Who are we?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2. Since you're on a roll.
What we are doing or what we have?
No, what is this?
Yeah, the books, what we have.
Yeah. What is this book? And number 3, which is the bottom line.
how much?
What is it for me? Yeah.
How it helps me?
Why is how much not the final question?
How it helps me?
Okay, yes, we're getting there. Warmer.
Why he should take that?
Why?
What's improving?
Oh! Ta-da! What's in it for me?
You get the credit, I get it.
What do I get out of this?
Yeah.
Is there a lack of resources in Germany, in India, in the world? Have you seen people with a lack of resources? Is there enough money? Is there enough food? Is there enough technology, clothing? There's enough of everything. Do you see people getting into debt, buying stuff that they don't need, that they don't have the money for? Have you seen that? Have you heard of credit cards? Have you heard of online shopping? Okay, so price is not the ultimate criteria. We're all here spending our time and our money to be here. Why? Because what's in it for me? I was happy coming here, just seeing Narahari, just seeing Akila, just seeing a few old friends, just having darshan of Prahlad Nrsimhadev. And then they invited me to do Abhishek, and you know, from then on it was just bonus, you know. It was like, wow, I got so much. When people feel that they get so much from you, then price is not really the issue. The question is more, what is it worth to you? What is it worth to you? If you were to put a price on it. They ask, how much? And what do we tell them? How much is this worth? If I would give you the cure to heartbreak, to cancer, to unemployment, to misunderstandings, to war, pestilence, and narcissism, how much would that cure be worth? What do you think?
Priceless.
Approximately. You already said it. Who said priceless? Yeah, it's priceless, exactly. So this is priceless. You can't put a price on this. That's why we don't sell these. But we do accept donations. I was in Mumbai just about to board a flight, and one loud American, you know what a loud American is?
It's loud.
Yeah, I just spent 6 years in California. That's why I may sound a little bit like a loud American. I have to become a little more European now. So, one loud American, he stood in front of me with his fancy rolling, Remova suitcase. And he turned around and he looked at me and he said, "What, you're trying to be a monk or what?" You know that kind of talk, you're trying to be a monk or what? And I reached into my bag and I pulled out a Bhagavad Gita and I said, "Yes, I've been trying for the past 30 years and this is a gift for you." And I just handed him the Bhagavad Gita. And he was like, because he said something quite pointed that was not so nice and he got a gift and it blew his mind and he didn't know how to react. And then he was like, And then he said, "Well, can I give you something?" And I said, "Well, generally we don't take anything. But in your case, I will make an exception." And he said, "Oh, well, how much?" I said, "Well, some people give their whole life." "Well, if you can't do that, then give $1 million. So the lady, she announced the flight, and I knew I have 10 seconds and this line starts walking. So I said, "Just give me 1,000 rupees." And he gave me 1,000, which is like 13 euros or something. Anyway, everybody went home happy. The point I'm trying to make, what was the point I was trying to make? What was the point? Sometimes you get excited. Has it ever happened to you? You get excited and you forgot what you were supposed to be doing and what we were actually talking about? So what were we talking about before we got excited?
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me? Exactly. What's my message? What keeps you up at night? What gets you up in the morning? Have you ever seen Steve Jobs' address to Stanford University? It's there on YouTube. You heard of YouTube? Have you met people who got a diploma from the University of YouTube? They were educated in the University of YouTube. So, and he's talking to these, Stanford is a private school which costs 60,000 euros a year just to sign your contract that you go into that school. Okay? No food, no board, no books, nothing. Just you're in the school. And he was telling these kids, this is Steve Jobs, this is the guy who founded Apple Corporation, one of the biggest corporations on the planet. And he was telling them how he was living in a garage. You know what a garage is? Where you park cars. He was living in a garage, the garage of his dad. And he was walking every Sunday 7 miles or 10 kilometers to the next Hare Krishna temple in Portland, Oregon to get a free lunch. And then he walked back the 10 kilometers. Because he was so obsessed with his idea of creating this personal computer. Have you heard of the personal computer? Called PC. And then he came out with Apple, with the first personal computer. And his motto was, you have to ship. Progress over perfection. And the kids were looking like, is this the guy we want to work for? Is this like the guy we want to sign up for? And he was just sharing what drove him, what was his mission, what was his idea that he wanted to bring this personal computer to the world. And now, every kid has a few of those things, that got developed because of that. So, find your purpose, and you will never run out of fun stuff to do. Now, like for instance, let's say you're doing fundraising. People want to know, how much money do you need? How much money do you need?
Everything.
No. You got to be specific. You got to have brackets. Because everything means nothing. We need everybody. Everybody means nobody. Because nobody feels this is talking to me. You have to be specific. I have a friend who is he's in non-profit, you could say fundraising, and there's it's a science. Who are your clients? Who are your prospects? How much? How often? How much can people give? How much do you need? they identify that they give to 1,000 charities $1,000 every 3 months. His job is to find those 1,000 projects that deserve $1,000 as seed money. That's just seed money, start money, start capital. You may not do much with 1,000, but you can do something. Huh? Then later on there are other brackets. Okay, let's say $15,000. Let's say $250,000. Like, what would you do with $1 million? Was that an interesting exercise?
Yes.
Did it got you thinking a little bit? What would I do with that? Now, for those of us who are a little older and who have already done a few things in the world, $1 million is not much. It's not much. And it doesn't take that much to make it. But to actually use it productively, that's an art that very few people master.
Yeah.
If I would give you $5 million right now, it would not solve your problems. I guarantee you that. It would not solve your problems.
Let's try.
There's plenty of people who have won the lottery, plenty of people who won the lottery, plenty of people who did well, and it didn't do them good. They couldn't really use it. It worked against them. Anyway, these are just some reflections. Okay. Your audience depends on your message, it depends on what you're trying to communicate, but try to narrow it down, okay? You can write that down. Try to narrow it down. Be specific. And to remember means to write it down. So be specific.
Yes.
Be very clear. And people will appreciate you for that, okay? And then you work with your most likely to succeed. Who are the people who most likely will respond to your message? You remember these lists, what Prabhupada wrote? He said that this message is for scientists, philosophers, religionists, what else? And people in general. Huh? Have you noticed these lists that Prabhupada is making? First he's very specific and then he becomes more general later on. But he starts at the top. He starts at the top. These are the people for whom he intended to write these books. Okay? All right.
I asked once another senior devotee, like, who is your target audience? Then he said that I always go for non-European, non-Germans.
Non-Germans.
Yeah.
In Germany?
Yes.
Okay, but at the end of the day, I got news for him. Most people are going to leave again. So either they'll become Germans or their kids will become Germans. So it's easier to stop them or to communicate with them because they're less German. But on the long run, the Indians are going to leave because their job leaves or their kids want to go back. The Russians and Ukrainians or whatever, for the most part, they're going to leave. So what are you left with? Germans. If you can't convince the locals, you haven't really done much. Okay, we're getting into the mechanics of how to actually work with your audience. What's the first thing you do? You meet somebody. What's the first thing you do? You smile. Why would you smile?
To break the ice.
What if they'll just ignore you?
Then you talk to them, you stop them, and you talk to them.
What if they don't want to stop?
Next person.
Yeah.
Yes! You can write it down. Just let them go.
Okay.
I just saved you a lot of trouble. People who don't want to talk to you, let them go. There's 8 billion people on the planet. The vast majority of them will never know that you exist. Is that a problem? No, right? It's not a problem. Why it's not a problem? Because Krishna loves me. And the devotees are kind. And prasadam is great. And I love it, what I'm doing. So, if someone doesn't want to talk to you, just let them go. Don't run after people. Have you ever seen devotees run after people?
Yeah.
Don't do this, okay? Don't do this. Just let them go. And turn around, and I guarantee you there's somebody there already looking and smiling at you. Have you ever gone fruit picking? Do you pick berries here?
Yes.
Which fruits do you pick? The one that's green and hard, and you break the branch and you drag the branch back home? Huh? That's how you do them? No.
No.
How do you pick fruits? Which fruits do you pick? Come on, work with me, people. Like, what does ripe mean?
Ready
They
to
fall
be
off
Ready,
themselves.
ready, how ready?
Ready to be
Ready to be eaten, yes. So they're fragrant, they're flavorful, they look nice, they're just there going like, hey, are you gonna talk to me? Huh? Are you gonna talk to me? Do you have something for me? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Do you want some money? I got some money for you. Huh? So don't run after people who, if you just, the first thing you do is you look at people. Turn to someone and look at them. Do you notice the consciousness in the eye? Do you notice Chaita, consciousness, the soul, is there? You can drive down the highway, there's another car, and you look over, and the guy's like, hey, don't look at me, you know? This is powerful. This is Krishna Shakti, it's Krishna's potency. So, work with the glance. Don't stare people down, but just look at people. Like, hey, I saw you, and smile. And like, yeah, okay, I'm going to talk to you. And then you move closer. Now, if they don't want to look at you, just let them go. Don't worry about it. There's plenty of other people there. You can always give them a second chance and just say something. Become a master asker. Ask the right kind of questions. What would be good questions to open a conversation?
How are you today?
How are you today? Okay, what else?
Are you from here?
Are you from here? No.
Where are you from?
Where are you from? Why is where are you from a better question than are you from here? Huh? Yes or no is a closed-ended question. And if people say no 3 times, do you believe in God? Do you like to read?
No.
Do you want to buy this book?
No.
You're a demon. I knew it. Okay, next one. Do you believe in God? Do you like to read? Do you want to buy this book? They're all demons. Krishna, kill them all. Who is the idiot? I'm the idiot. Because I don't know how to communicate. I only ask closed-ended questions if I know which answer I'm going to get. This is for all the nice people. Are you a nice person?
Yeah.
And even if they say no, they smile. You know? Because sometimes what people say and what they actually mean is 2 different things. Have you noticed?
Yes.
The girls know that, guys don't get it so much. But get used to the idea that what people say and what they mean is not always the same thing. Okay? So you have to look at their demeanor. You have to look at their face. The face is the index of the mind. Only ask closed-ended questions. Like if somebody's turning nasty, you know, like sometimes initially people are nice, but then they kind of turn, you know, yeah, you're trying to make money here, and you're a sect, you're a cult, or this or that. Do you want to buy this?
No.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. If I want to close the conversation, I ask a closed-ended question. Or I ask a closed-ended question where I'm convinced that I will get a positive response. That's also possible, but you have to know how to do that. Huh? Like for instance, this is for all the nice people, for all the intelligent people, something obvious. It's a nice day today, you state the obvious, people agree with you, you get 3 yes in a row, they will buy your book. And if you get them to laugh, they immediately will. Hey, you make me happy. What do you want? I'll give you $5. I'll give you $20 if you give me some of that monk stuff, you know, like some of that wisdom. So, okay, closed-ended questions, open-ended questions. You get it?
Yes.
Don't go up to people and state the obvious and be disappointed if you get a negative response. All right? Does this help? Does this clarify some of your fears and ideas? Okay. So what are some other nice things to say to introduce people to a conversation? Do you talk to people? Do you have any friends? What do you tell them?
Appreciate something.
What do you first say? Hi. Hi. Can you do that? Hi.
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 Is it hard? Try that. Hi.
Hi.
And you get a response, right? Have you noticed? Yeah, people are forced to respond. And then you can already see, is this most likely to succeed, or is this very unlikely? And then you know whether you should invest more energy or not. Now, even if they don't respond immediately, you can have a second chance. Give people a second chance. But don't push your luck and go above 3 times, okay? Because then people feel annoyed. And sometimes people say no, and that's enough. And you just drop it and move on to the next person. You get it? But sometimes no also means like, no? Like, what you got? Like, I'm not impressed. Like, tell me a little more. You understand? But sometimes no means get out of my face. So you have to get the idea. Okay? So in any interaction, there is 3 stages. There is the approach. Does approach have 2 P's?
Yes.
Then there's the interaction. And then there is the closing. Now, if you actually have one pen that works, you would be very happy.
Here are some different pens. Maybe like them.
Ah, this one is good. Okay. Most conversations are over before they even started. Because we're not clear about who we are, how the other person is. It's called Sambandha Gyan. Have you heard of Sambandha Avideya Prayojana?
Yes.
This is Sambandha Avideya Prayojana. The beginning, the interaction, and the goal. Okay? So, if I'm not clear who I am, I'm not clear who you are, then our interaction will not happen. And there won't be any fruit, any goal to it. Okay? So, be clear on who you are and who you are approaching. So you have to do a little bit of research into that. Then, as we said, an approach is you walk up to people. Now, of course, this is situational. We're talking about street distribution here, which is the common factor. Because if you were to go door to door, for instance, you knock on people's doors and they open, and then you're going to say something, right? So what do you say? I ask them, do you live here? And they say, yeah. And I say, Mr. Smith, right? Because it said Mr. Smith on the mailbox or on the ringer. And they say, yeah, how did you know? I say, well, people said Mr. Smith is a real nice guy and I should come talk to you, you know? Today, for all the nice people here, we're showing these. You understand? You get it? You have to make a rapport. You have to create some banda. You remember? Setu banda? Banda? Huh? Setu? What is it? Bridge. You have to create a bridge. A bridge between you and the person. And then you invite the person to come to your side. You take them on a little journey. Okay? Alright. So first, you look at them. Second thing is, you say something and you make a motion. Then, you ask a question. And you involve them in a conversation. Do you know what a conversation is? A conversation is not, sorry for stating the obvious, a conversation is not a monologue, it's not a tirade, it's not an insult, it's not just a series of jokes. A conversation is, I say something, you say something. it goes back and forth, you know? Have you seen tennis? Ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. So that's a conversation. Are you good at having conversations? There's room for improvement, right? You have to practice, you have to learn that. Huh? So, but it's something you can learn. It's just a matter of practice. Learn it. Some people are great, some people are not so great. Everyone has their own genius, everyone has their own talent. One time they asked Prabhupada how to train people in book distribution. He said, don't teach them techniques, just teach them how to be sincere. And then he pointed to his heart and he said, then the Master, the Lord of the Heart, will teach you, and Krishna will show your own genius, because everyone has their own unique genius. Now I might be a little more outgoing. Some of you are more shy, you may be more introvert, you may be more intellectual, you may be a nerd. You know what a nerd is? No? Like, you know what a nerd is? Yeah? No? No? A nerd is a person who's highly specialized in his field. He may not be so interested or able to deal with other fields and other things, but he's highly specialized in his field. Very focused. So, just like people ask me, what is this Harinam thing all about? Or Ratha Yatra, what is it? I say, this is playgroup for techies. We have people who are all masters and PhDs. They're brilliant people, socially sometimes a little awkward. And we get them together to work together in a group. So I call this playgroup for techies. You can also say it's the oldest festival of India. We bring the temple and the Lord out on the street. We sing and dance and distribute food. We celebrate. All of this is true. But I have a lot of people who this resonates with. That we're bringing the congregation together to interact and to learning love through cooperation. That's what bhakti is. You can write that down. Bhakti is learning love, selfless love, through cooperation. It's a pretty good definition of bhakti. But you come up with your own stuff. So that's the approach. The approach means the person should stop. We want to catch their attention. And then, the most important thing, I almost forgot. You have to actually put the book into their hand. Because sometimes you see devotees, they stand there, and they stand there, and they stand there, and they're talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Have you noticed? And then at the end, they say, do you want one of these? And the person says no, and they walk away. And the devotee goes away. Have you seen this scenario? Have you been in this scenario?
Yes.
So don't do it like that. Stop people, catch their attention, and then say, so today we're showing these to all the nice people, and put the book in their hand. Now, sometimes when you try to put the book in their hand, no, they just don't respond. So then there's different things you can do. You can try. Not such a good idea, right? Sometimes you just take it back, and what happens when you take it back? Then the hand comes out. He wants to grab it. Why? Why? Because the hand wants to grab things. Have you ever been to a supermarket? Have you seen the candy next to the cash register? Now who needs candy, right? These are not kids, these are adults. Does candy sell?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Kids.
No, because it's there, because you can grab it. Because they're big kids with money. And they just grab stuff and mindlessly buy it because it's there. So sometimes you can just put it there, they don't respond, you put it there again, or you give them a second chance, and then boom, and it's gone. Sometimes, like you're in a train station in India, you can just stand there and hold books out, and some people try to grab them. But then you have to actually reel them in, you know? You have to reel them in. You have them to stop, otherwise they just disappear. The book. I was in Mumbai, and it was rush hour traffic. I believe it was Borivali or some of these, not Dadar, smaller station. And you know rush hour traffic, 5 o'clock, people are tired, they're beaten down, they have another hour and a half till they're out in the projects, and people are just want to go home, you know, non-responsive. And I try every trick, you know, I use every trick. Nobody responds to nothing. What do you do when nobody responds to nothing? Have you ever been in such a situation? Like in a classroom, sometimes, you know, people get dull and they switch off and they go, and then there's different things I can do. You know, I have things I can throw at them, or I can take out my water gun, or I can yell and insult them. But I just started chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And not only the kids, but like 5 or 7 people were like, whoa, what's going on here? And I'm like, you, and you, come here, I have something for you. Give them books, you know, and deal with those people. And then again, boom, the fish are moving, you know, it's like the herd of sheep are moving. And then you start chanting again. And again, a few people start getting attracted. Because sometimes the mass is an ass, you know, people are like, they're like a bunch of sheep, you know sheep?
No.
One sheep runs and everybody runs after them. So, you come up with your own strategy. And you choose the places where you distribute. Some places are easier. We'll get into that in a moment. But right now we're just talking about approach, how to stop people. Any questions? I noticed that 40% of the trouble is here, 40% is here, and only 20% is here. Most devotees do pretty well with interaction. I have to hand it to them. You know, just having a little conversation and talking about this and that and the other thing, not so difficult. But getting people to stop and getting the money, ooh, not so easy. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll focus primarily on these, but we'll get into these also. Any questions on approach?
Do you have some more examples?
Yes. For instance, you may not be the most outgoing, the most conversationally expert person. What you can do is, you can put a book table in a busy spot. You put the books there, and instead of going to approach people, you let people approach you. You turn the game around. And I guarantee you, some people will just wander up to your table, and then what I ask them is, have you seen these before? And most people say no. And I say, well then, let me show you one of these. And if they say, yes, I've seen them before, then I say, which ones do you have? They'll say, I have this one, I have that one. Okay, this is the next one. Let me show you one of these. You get it? So you turn the game around. What can be your weakness can become your strength. So, or you don't do streets, you go door to door, or you go business to business, office to office. You go to festivals. You find a place where there's a lot of people in a small spot. If you don't feel comfortable with a lot of people, you go to small places that are kind of slow, and you can have a very peaceful, very natural conversation with people who are just relaxed. So, I like variety, because variety is the mother of enjoyment. I like to mix it up. I like to do all the different kind of stuff. Otherwise it gets boring. If you tell me I have to do the same thing every day of the week, it's not me, okay? So you find out what works for you. I know Vijay Prabhu, he was in an airport in LA for 20 years, and he was confined to a small box. He couldn't step outside of that box. And he went there every day to sell his 20 Bhagavad Gitas. And I have to hand it to him. He's a saint. He's very, very sincere, very dedicated. I could not do what he does. I need variety. But you find out what works for you. And sometimes there are different logistics. We used to do the parking lots. You've seen parking lots where people park their car? Great places to distribute books. Everyone's got money. Money is not the issue. Did you see that video from Trinidad? Sankirtan in Trinidad? We had Harinam on the side of the road with a little book table. People didn't really pay much attention, but there was very intense traffic coming. And I was just in between the cars, just stopping the cars and distributing books right there on the street. So there's many things. Some devotees, they distribute books at stoplights to the cars. I don't like that so much because of the anxiety and the smoke, the pollution. But what I like is to have a stoplight in front of a train station where there is also buses or trams, and there's also an ATM and a post office. Now you're talking my language. And the university is just right close by. Like it's something like Bonn or Heidelberg, you know, or Cologne, where it's like hunting in a zoo. Can you imagine hunting in a zoo? How difficult is it, right? It's like fishing in a barrel with a stick of dynamite. These are just examples to give you the idea. So you use your own intelligence to figure out which place is best for you. Now when you start out, you go with others. You go with more experienced devotees. And you just watch. You just watch and listen. I started when I was 15. I assisted other devotees. I carried their books and I heard what they said. I watched them. I wrote it down mentally. And then I tried it out. Some stuff worked. Some stuff didn't work. Some stuff I had to tweak. You know, like tech, it doesn't always work. You have to tweak it. You have to, you know, play around with it. And all of a sudden, boom, it works, right? So you have to find out what works for you. Everyone has their own style. Yes?
Can you speak about some alternatives to street books distribution? You mentioned office.
Yes, there's many of them. Office, airport, train station, parking lots, shopping centers, any type of festival where people congregate. There are music festivals, pumpkin festivals, Fest, you know, beer festivals, garlic festival. It doesn't matter. As long as there's people, you can be there. It's all good. There has to be no rhyme and reason how the two things will connect, because we're here to meet the people. Okay?
I mean, with something where the system is different. For example, offices, I cannot imagine now how it would work.
Offices work great. I did it for ages. It's fantastic. Especially small businesses, kleine und mittlere Unternehmen. Not like the big, huge industries where we have 4 levels of guards and security, but smaller places, you know, where you just walk into the business. It's a car dealership or a car workshop. The name of the guy is on the business, you know. So you ask, "Are you Mr. Schmitz?" And they say, "Yeah, that's me. How did you know?" "Well, it's written outside, you know." And we're meeting all the nice business people here in this area, and we're traveling monks. You know what a traveling monk is? And they say, "No." I say, "It's a monk who travels." "Oh, yeah. Make a few jokes, make it funny. People are living boring lives. They're tired. They're beaten down. Same thing over and over and over. Make people laugh. Everybody has got their own humor, okay? So you don't have to be me. I don't have to do what he does or she does. You figure it out. So, businesses, great way how to distribute books. There's no question of not having money. It's more a question of you have very little time because these people are busy. So you have to know how to go about it. Sometimes there's a secretary, sometimes there's a receptionist, sometimes there's a guard. You have to know how to deal with these people. I'm not going to get into details. I'm just giving you principles. And then you figure out somebody who knows how to distribute like that, and you shadow them, you know. To be shot to see. You will go with them and you will learn it. Okay? All right. Go for it. Okay. Other questions to approach? Now, if you're in a place where people are just very, very busy, and there's just too much volume, too much passion, and you can't deal with it, just get out of the main Fußgängerzone, out of the main thoroughfare where everyone's running like a mad, and just go to the side streets. And you will find, I don't like to use most of my energy just to stop people. It's a waste of my time and energy. So you find what works for you. I know some are super, super happy to be right there in the action, but a lot of the people, especially our congregation, want to be in a space where it's less busy, where it's less tension, more quiet. You can also get a permit and have a book table in a mall or at a public place, and you can sit there legally, and people will come to you, and you can discuss with them, and they buy books. Have you seen the Jehovah's Witnesses? You have, right? They're there with the little push carts, the little trolleys. Now, very few people actually engage with them because they're not very outgoing. They're not really, engaging. They mostly just stand there. And if somebody comes, they talk, and they may give them something. Have you seen the Mormons?
Yes.
Yeah.
Different strategy. They actually talk to people. They engage. The Jehovah's Witnesses who go door to door, it's more engaging. So you figure out which method. In Switzerland, we went door to door every 2 years, knocked on every door in the country. A lot of books went out. Yeah, it's possible. So if you want to have impact, you have to penetrate the whole landscape. It's not enough to just say, Bhakta Carlos, 5 books in Zurich. Haribo. Well, hey, there's 500,000 people there. I mean, it's great, you did 5 books, wonderful. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was happy if a brahmachari went to Navadvip and sold a few magazines for a few paisas, and he would glorify. It's not about the quantity, but remember, organize. You can distribute a few books without even trying much, but you can distribute a lot of books by having a plan. Just to give you an idea, have you heard of Motel Gita? There's 2 Gujarati gentlemen. One works in technology, and one has a small motel. You know what a motel is? An inn? A small little roadside motel? Cheap hotel. And they have distributed more than 1.3 or 1.5 million Bhagavad Gitas. 1.5 million of these. How? They saw an opportunity, and they put Gitas in all the hotels and motels in Canada and US. Pretty good idea, right? Pretty good plan. And because they're good at organizing, they made it happen. Not with their money, but with their intelligence and with their endeavor. So you use your genius, you use your intelligence, and Krishna will give you the inspiration how you can actually involve more people. Because okay, we're getting to that later on. Interaction. The person has stopped. They're like, okay, what you got? What do you say? Next? No. You're going to have something to say. So, you're going to have standard mantras. Like, what's one of the standard mantras that we use? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You know that one, right? It's a standard mantra. Does it work? Does it work? Yes. So, you were saying books?
The classic mantra I've heard is, these are books about yoga and meditation and how to be peaceful, how to live a stress-free life. Something like that. That's what I always hear.
Yeah. Good. Books on yoga and meditation teaches you how to get free from stress. Can you write that down? Books on yoga and meditation teaches you how to get free from stress. And then the follow-up question is, have you heard of stress before? And they say, stress is my middle name. Or they say, me? No, not at all. I'm never stressed. Then you can develop, this is called a conversation, okay? Then you say, you look very peaceful. What's your secret? What's your secret? You go to Malarkey, right? Yeah. Or I sing and dance in the shower, or I walk my dog, or I smoke weed, or, I get drunk. They tell you a whole bunch of stuff, and most of it may be stupid stuff. But you just say, oh yeah, that's an interesting way how to put it. Okay, so then you are qualified. This is for you. People need to know, why are you giving me this? Why me? There is 1 million people here. Why are you giving this to me? Have you had people ask you that? How did you choose me?
Often.
And what do you tell them? You seem like a pushover. You seem like a guy who I can just work over and force them to do what I want them to do. No, why? Why you? I usually tell them because I felt some special energy coming from you. And they're like, wow. Okay. That's like the ultimate compliment, you know? You can say, oh yeah, you look very spiritual. And even people who don't know what it means, they're like, oh, okay, wow, thank you, thank you. Like they have no clue what it means. But have you noticed how people don't refuse compliments? Remember Sanatana Goswami was telling the jailkeeper, you're a gentleman and a scholar? I mean, you're like a prophet, you're like a saint. You must know the whole Quran by heart. And the guy was like, yeah, continue, like, don't stop, don't stop, this is good stuff. And then he was making him an offer that he couldn't refuse. And what was that offer? What was the offer that Sanatana Goswami proposed to him?
5,000 gold coins.
Huh?
Was it 5,000 golden coins?
Yeah, take 5,000 gold coins and let me go. And he was like, it's tempting, I would like to, but the boss, the boss. And he said, well, what about 7,000 gold coins? And just tell him, Sanatan went to the bank to answer the call of nature, and then he jumped into the river with his shackles on and he drowned. And in this way you got your alibi, you got your excuse, you got the money. I'm going to Mecca, I'm becoming a mendicant, and you will get the punya, the benefit of being part of my pilgrimage. So everybody goes home happy. And it worked. He was free. Okay? Interaction, sambandha, bridge. Have you noticed what's common to every bridge? What's common to every bridge? Hello?
There's a beginning and an end.
There's a beginning and an end. There has to be a connection. And then you have to take people on a journey. That's what happens when you have a bridge. You can bridge things. So, build bridges. People ask you, what's your job? Brückenbauer. I'm a person who builds bridges. Because that's what we do. We build bridges. Right now, the world is very divided. Have you noticed how the world is very divided? It's very polarized. Even inside our own organization. Are you right wing? Are you left wing? Are you red or blue? Are you this or that? Are you with me or against me? But Sankirtan is actually striving for unity. It's actually bringing people into the team play of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. We'll speak a little more about this afternoon, also how to build your team, because you will realize that your project needs more people than you. Have you gotten to that stage where you realize that I can't do this just by myself? Because I may not have all the knowledge and all the experience and all the resources to do what needs doing. So we'll talk more about this in the afternoon, but before lunch I'd like to end up with this and also talk about a few different methods more that how we want to distribute books. And we got another 19 minutes. So, interaction. The main point in interaction is to find out the interest of the person. Now I can ask you, what are you interested in? Are you going to tell me? Of course not, because you don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
And why would I tell something to a stranger?
Yeah, that's true.
Even you ask them, what's your job, or where do you live, or how much money do you make? They're like, get off my planet, Like, read it, Who are you?
Yeah.
But if I told them that I'm a traveling monk, and my mission is to help people overcome stress, anxiety, confusion, distraction. Have you ever been distracted? Have you ever not been distracted? You know, you find out topics where people resonate, and all of a sudden people open up and they tell you their life story. They don't only give you a piece of their mind, they give you a few pieces of their mind. So, you have to know how deep you want to get into it, how much you want to open it up and unpack it, because it may take more time. Yeah, you can sit down on the bench and talk for 3 hours. Rarely I will spend more than 3 or 5 minutes. For the most part, it's a couple of minutes. But very exceptional people deserve a little more time. But often I tell them, I'm on a mission, you take this is my contact, this is how you can stay in touch. And they have to respect that. It's like if you go to the doctors, if you go to a lawyer, you have to respect that their time is valuable. So, how do you find out people's interests? You have to be perceptive. You have to be perceptive. You look at them, you pretty much figure out, you pretty much get an idea of what they're into just by looking at people. It comes with the job. And Krishna also will teach you. Do you like water?
I like it.
You do? So do I. It's a great thing, right?
Yes.
By the way, I should get my bottle and also drink some water. Okay. Because did you know that your body is 70% water?
No, 71.
Now 71, yes. And speak about things that people have in common with you, Like I meet people from Holland. You know the Dutch? Have you met some people?
Yes.
They're super smart, one of the first colonialist nations. They've been not in as many places as the British, but in many places. Very intelligent, but also quite accomplished. So I asked them, I see a group of Dutch, they say we're from Holland, and I say, no, I don't believe you. And they're like, well, why you don't believe us? I say, where are the bicycles? You don't have any bicycles. And then they start laughing. If you get me to laugh, I will give you a donation. But you have to get me to laugh. Sometimes I go up to people talking of jokes and say, this is for you. You know what this is? We call it books. Have you heard of books? Like there's a whole bunch of words in there. And so, anyway, everyone has their own sense of humor, but the point I'm trying to make is you have to be a little bit perceptive. You have to be paying attention. And then you talk about things that you can see that this person might be interested in. Have you ever seen people with strong-built bodies? I ask them, do you work out or you just drink a lot of water? And they say, no, I drink a lot of beer, or no, I eat all day, but they start laughing. You have a point of conversation. It's about opening up the conversation. It doesn't matter about what you talk. Sometimes you can talk about cars. Prabhupada talked with John Lennon's gardener about British sports cars. Now, what do you think Prabhupada has got to do with British sports cars? How much? But he knew about British sports cars. And John Lennon's gardener remembered Prabhupada very fondly. Why? Because he talked with him about something that mattered and interested him. Get it? It's a point of entrance. It's just a segue. It's just an entrance into the conversation. Okay? Then, obviously, we're going to introduce the topic. The topic is yoga meditation teaches people how to get free from stress. Now, oftentimes, you get tired. Have you ever gotten tired? Does this ever happen to you, or is it just me? If I don't want to talk a lot, you know what I do? I just show people pictures. Do you like pictures? Do you like movies? Do you like clips? Do you like scrolling? No? Okay, I'll show you a few pictures. All right. Let's see if we find them. Every Gita is different, you have to see where they actually put the pictures. Are there any pictures in this book? It's a good question, right?
They fall out in this version.
Huh?
They fall out in this version, at least in my one.
They fall out. They were in there, but they're not in this book.
Yeah.
Now that's a real disappointment.
But they're very inside originally.
Yeah, but I need a different book, not that one. I need a Gita. Sorry.
Prabhu, professional book opening.
Yeah.
Huh?
Professional book opening.
Yes. Okay. Sorry for that one. So, let the court see exhibit number 8. Now, this is a different picture than I intended to, but it works. Okay. Show this to people. And what do you see here? Changing body, right? What does it mean to you? Or you can talk about reincarnation, this, that. But then again, some people may say, I don't believe in this stuff, I'm Christian or whatever, they walk off. You know what I tell them? I tell them, what's this here? There's some yellow thing in there. I tell them, the past is gone, the future hasn't come. You gotta live in the moment. The moment is all you have. The rest is just an imagination of the mind. It's also on the insides of Raman side. Easy journey to other planets. You have that infinity sign. And you ask people, where do you live? Do you live in the past, in the future, or in the now? Are you here or are you everywhere? Where are you? That's like San Francisco. Are you here or are you everywhere? I'm everywhere. Oh, that's cool, man. It's for you. Okay, so then of course you can tell them a whole bunch of stuff about reincarnation. Then you have this one here. Horses, chariot, senses, how to control your mind and senses. Are people interested in this?
Yes.
Absolutely. I ask them always, are you focused? Like you have a sports person, you ask them, are you focused or are you distracted? What's your greatest distraction? Your mind, your phone, the girls, the boys, the this, the that, and everyone's distracted. So this will help you to focus. You have to make that bridge. Without Sambandha, very unlikely that they will take the book. Next picture, yogi, right? I asked them, what's your job? What do you do? What's your job?
Software engineer.
Oh, really funny. This guy was a software engineer too. Believe it or not, everyone laughs. Everyone laughs. All this joke in the book, but everyone laughs. Totally out of context, but it works. Then, we're supposed to be singing and dancing, but right now it looks like we're more like these two guys down here shoveling coal, So we're supposed to be in a world where every step is a dance and every word is a song. So you can say little things like that. Karma. Karma. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you?
But what goes around comes around.
Wow. That was an amazing realization. Now, of course, we heard it a million times, but believe it or not, if you sincerely appreciate what people say, not in a sarcastic, not in a cynical way, but you actually appreciate them because they made an effort to appreciate the Bhagavad Gita. And that is their ticket. That is their sukriti. That is the price that they paid to get the book. Okay? Then, always show them the Sanskrit. There's translation, word for word, and a purport. There's an index. You can work with the back of the book. Show, and then tell. Okay? So, when the book is in their hands, say something about the book. A couple of things to say about the book. You can say, this is the best book that was ever written. This is a book that's changed my life. All these people really appreciated this book. So many things to say. This is the user's manual for the galaxy. Pretty cool, huh?
Very cool.
Very cool. So you come up with your own things that you say on the Bhagavad Gita. Then this book here. Science of Self-Realization, in German called Die Schönheit des Selbst. I talk about the self, I talk about self-love, self-respect, how to find center, how to find your den goldenen Punkt. Hast du den goldenen Punkt schon gefunden?
Immer mal wieder.
Immer mal wieder. Das ist ehrlich. Are people interested in this kind of stuff?
Yes, very much.
Yes, they are. Very much. It's easy to get out of balance, to get out of center, but this book will help you find your center. What do I mean by a center? Not just some esoteric, fluffy thing. I mean Krishna in your heart, man. That's your eternal friend who's going to guide you. That's the center. That's the center of existence. So, great book. Work with it. Obviously, every book has its own thing to say. Here, I asked them, mantra meditation, have you heard of this? For some people, this is totally foreign. It's like China, totally, they can't relate to any of it. So you know what I tell them? Every day, sing and dance. Are you singing and dancing every day? At least theoretically, people know they should be doing that, right? Because otherwise you become an idiot. You know what it means to be an idiot? You work and you die. Have you heard of that song? Do you want to end up like that? No. Then that means you have to sing and dance every day. Are you guys singing and dancing every day? Are you?
Yes.
Yes, I know. That's why you're so happy, right? Huh? So, work with your own bliss. Work with what drives you, what makes you you. And people will accept it. Nobody can argue with you. Why? Because you can't argue with the truth. It's just, that's the way how it is. This is who I am and this is what works for me. Okay. Questions? Closing. Interaction. Here, you can steer the conversation. If you find that a person starts becoming attentive to yoga, to meditation, to karma, to reincarnation, vegetarianism, don't go any further. Don't tell them a whole bunch more. This is it. You got a winner. This book is about yoga. This book is about meditation. Don't go any further. Have you noticed? At some point the lights go on. Don't keep talking. Just close it. Just get to the closure. You got a winner. You struck a chord with this person. Don't keep just prolonging the whole conversation. If you don't find that the person finds anything that resonates with them, just be nice and still try to close it and get to the point. What is the point? The point is, we're not selling these like in stores, but we're asking people for a donation for the printing, and you can help. Can you help? What will people say? If you ask people for help, what will people respond normally? Do you ever ask people for help? Yeah? And what do they respond?
Yes.
They also sell.
They want to know how much, right? What's it going to cost me? But in general, if people have come this way with you, all the way to here, in general, they're favorably disposed. Otherwise, they will walk off before. Or it's just going to close before that. But if you get there, you get a 50-50 chance. So, what do you tell people? You tell them that today's your lucky day. We're not selling them, we're just accepting donations. Can you help? Yes. They ask how much. You say, from your heart. Do the best you can. I tell them, 7 is my lucky number, 20 is generous, or 13 is my lucky number, 20 is generous. Try to keep it under $1 million. You say whatever you want. The main point is, sometimes people think that you want a lot, and they may not have that much that they can give. So just give something, I say even 1 coin. Can you give 1 coin? 1 coin. And they'll give you 1 or 2 euros. It's okay, they can take a book. Have you noticed? But if you have this fixation that, no, I need €7.50 for this, you'll only do very few books. Be a giver, just give. Vaisheshika Prabhu always makes this mudra, and I'd like you to repeat it. You tell people, we don't need the money. Can you do that? Say, we don't need the money. You're going to put your hands up like that. We don't need the money. But it's good for you if you give.
But it's good for
It's good for you.
It's good for you. We're accepting the donation for their benefit. We don't need the money. Because we got lunch, we got breakfast, we got dinner. No one's going to kick you out. But people need. Krishna says in the Gita that this knowledge should not be given to people who are not austere. Have you ever wondered about that? How do you make people austere?
You take money.
Show me the money. Show me the money. That makes people austere pretty quick. Right there, that moment. Have you noticed?
Yes.
They really sober up real fast, right? And it's the moment of truth. And it's the moment where I have to actually acknowledge, Krishna, I can't do this. Till now, I got it covered. I know how this game works. But at some point you have to be detached and say, okay, it's in Krishna's hands, whether they take it or not. I just have to trust Krishna, that his plan is gonna work. And that's the school of life. Sankirtan is a school of life. If you figure this out, this how to communicate a message in a relevant, attractive, and impactful way, having a family and 5 kids, making a few millions, building a few buildings, traveling the world, this is easy. The hard part is being a team player of Krishna in every situation of life. So Krishna will give you everything. But we have to show to Krishna that we're a team player. It's worth it investing some time and energy into me. Like a businessman, he won't give his kid $1 million. He'll give him $5 and say, okay, let's see what the kid's going to do with $5. And if the kid goes and buys a big bag of candy and is just eating candies all week, then he's not going to give him more. Because his capacity is just not there yet. So Krishna is giving us as much resources, as much intelligence, as much Shakti, potency, as we can handle, as we can engage productively in service. Why would Krishna give us more and make a fool out of us? Right now we can't even manage one farm and a few little centers. Why would Krishna give us more? He would just embarrass us. Huh? Prabhupada said Krishna could give you the whole world in 18 days. He did it. He gave it to the Pandavas in 18 days, the whole world. Krishna could do the same with us. Well, we can't even agree, on whether we gotta cook, zucchini or eggplant. We need a council, we need a board meeting, to decide on these very esoteric topics. Anyway, it's just aside. Any questions on this? On the money part, interaction part, or the approach part? Yes?
I did not quite get what this means. How do we show that we are the team player of Krishna? How we go on with the money, or?
No, that even if the person praises me or the person ignores me, I'm going to do this no matter what, because I'm on Krishna's team, and I'm just going to do my duty, no matter what the outcome. Some days the sun shines, some days it snows. Are you going to show up to do your duty? That's where you see who's a team player. It's easy to show up when the party is on and the cake is out and the lights are nice, but Monday morning, who comes to take out the trash, to clean up the mess? Those are your team players. Those are the people who are there to actually get stuff done.
And
It's 1:30, I don't want to go over. We have more time to discuss these topics. So I value your time. I know you have other things to do and you have other things planned for today. So we will resume at 4:30 to 6:30. We got another 2 hours where we're going to do role plays, questions and answers, different situations, different ways of how to distribute books. And I also like to hear from you. What are your ideas? What are your plans? How to expand Krishna consciousness? What are your projects? So that's what interests me. All right, thank you very much. To be continued. You can meditate on this while your lunch should be ready, right? Anytime soon?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. But you already started your question. Who already started talking? You?
no,
Yes,
I
right?
have
You,
one
okay.
also, yeah.
Yes,
Normally,
just finish that
yeah,
one, sorry to
we'll
interrupt.
be in conversation.
Yeah,
So how to take it to the point to close? Like we say, okay, do you want to donate something or do you
no,
want
no,
to?
no, no, you don't go like that. The person has the book in the hand and you talk to them, and then without a gap, it has to be smooth motion, no gaps, you know? You have the book in the hand, and we've been talking, and I already know what your job is, I know where you live, I know a lot about your life. So, and then I say, look, we're traveling monks, and we're doing this to serve people, and you can help by contributing to the cost of the printing. Can you help? You just propose to them. Worst case scenario, their head opens up and a monster comes out and bites your head off, right? No? No?
Either this just give it back.
No, worst case scenario is somebody will say no.
No.
It's not a big deal, right?
After 20 times.
So they're like, close it. So normally you conversate, okay, it's good.
It's cool, yeah. If the person agrees with you, that means they'll also agree at the end.
Yeah.
Because they went on the journey with you. You know, the closing thing, it's a minor thing, it's a detail. Because you're being consistent, and you're being nice, and they trust you. Because you look like a nice guy.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all. And we'll continue
At 4:30.
at 4:30. And we get into some practical stuff. So we're gonna have a little bit of role play. We want to see you, how you distribute, and there will be some discussions and a little bit more of that sharing stuff. Okay? All right.